Warrior Tough, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch. Dutch.
I love my Dutch button. Let me hit it again.
Dutch.
Oh, it's so much fun. All right, we're back. Hey, guys, if you want to get in on the conversation on Twitter, use the hashtag #GetWarriorTough. That's the hashtag #GetWarriorTough. You can find Dutch at the Dutch Coleman. I'm at Warrior Tough PhD. Go to the website, getwarriortough.com. Find a handle and hook in. You could get the app, and you could hear Dutch and I 24/7. All of our shows are up there, and they're broadcasting. And now, Dutch, I also noticed on Twitter that you were doing some podcasting with our friend Scott Cole for the ACC stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, we have a little media group that consists of myself and Scott Cole and Ryan Alford and Taj Boyd and I think Amon Green, and there's another Eric McLean. So we have a pretty good group there. It's just starting out. We've been doing it for a little over a month. I think we have over 1 million downloads in a month's time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
you're just crushing it. Yeah, you're just crushing it. I love it.
So we're looking forward to that. Hopefully, we can get some people over on the athletic side to jump on board with our stuff. And I want to encourage people to go over to the website. You mentioned it, getwarriortough.com, www.getwarriortough.com. There's some great stuff over there. There's some great free content. There's some great descriptions and illustrations of what we do, what we're attempting to do with folks, what we're doing every day with folks. And we also have detailed information on how to get involved and to improve yourself or to direct someone to us that you think that we can help. So, again, www.getwarriortough.com.
Yeah, and there's tons of stuff up there. Take some time on the website. Download the free ebook. But honestly, the changes are going to be made in the phalanx. Like, that's where you're going to make when you're in the coaching calls and it's a weekly, we'll help you make course corrections in your life each week. And I'll tell you, the advanced group, man, it's getting tough because I'm asking they're getting some really hard questions, Dutch, in their homework. And I'm following up with some pointed, and again, accountability, right? So it's good stuff. The phalanx is where it's happening. I'm just telling you, the phalanx is where it's happening. The advanced group's been with us a little over 6 months, and so they're into the people whisper. They're learning all of this. I'm writing the book now. We already had the curriculum, but now I'm writing the book and I'm writing the coaching manual. And so these guys we're digging in deep with it when we're teaching it to them, more than just the 6 or 8 hour seminar. But they had to be here with us. CEO of You, it took them 6 months to get here. And I'll be honest with you, Dutch, it's still almost too early to jump into People Whisper, because what we're doing is now teaching people how to persuade, influence, and I'll even say manipulate others, right? And we push our airspace out so that we get them out of their own way. So they're not being first reactors, that we calm them and ramp them down, and so that we can help them hit their targets instead of getting sand trapped by their own emotional reactions.
And I don't want to scare anyone when you use the word manipulate. If you've been listening to Andrew and I, you know that we use manipulate as it's defined, not how man has used it or how man has made it become. We use it how it's defined and how it's meant to do with respect to the English language. So we're talking about moving. When you manipulate something, you move something. And we all want to move people, right? But it just depends on do you want to move them positively or negatively? Do you want to move them to a good place or a bad place? So we all want to manipulate people. We all want to move people, but we're trying to move people for their good and for the greater good. So when you hear words like that coming from us, it means completely different than what the average person saying it means. So as you spend more time with us, you'll get that. So again, we want to move people to be better. We want to move people to be in a better place, in a better space, and also teach them how to move others as well. So that's what I cannot say that enough.
Right, and I want to just that's what we're doing. We want to move people, and we want to move their emotional state from anxiety and fear and a scarcity mindset, and move them from, worry, and move them from, depression, and move them from anger, And so that's where the law of primacy and recency comes in, right? So when you see me, so what happens, and I'm using you as an example, Dutch, because it really is what I observe. And that's what we do when we're on the road. You observe my interactions with others, and I observe yours. But you literally move people when they're happy to see you. You move their emotional state from whatever state they were in to they get excited, their eyes light up, they smile, and Dutch Coleman is now in my space. And that's what we're talking about. I know you're laughing, but it's true. I mean, I do the same thing, it's easier for me to brag on you than brag on myself. But that's what we do when we walk in. That's why when we come in and do training, it's like magic, because the two of us are coming in there and we do that.
Yeah, and I truly love it. I truly love the response that we get, and you're absolutely right, man. When we go in, and I feel good about it. I feel good that people feel good, and I tell people all the time, their advancement blesses me more than the way they respond to me blesses me.
Right.
I just love the fact that people are getting better, and that's why we do what we do. And so when we walk into the room, that's our target. We're being intentional. Like, that's our goal, is for those things to happen. It's not happening accidentally. It's not happenstance. It's what we're aiming to do. It's what our target is. You are in our crosshairs. You becoming better is in our crosshairs. So when we do that, we feel like we've accomplished something major, along with you feeling for yourself that you've accomplished something major. So again, I feel blessed to do what we do.
Oh, that's the whole key, is that we are. We've talked about this many times, Dutch. The secret life, the private life, and the public life, and being congruent. Because of our identities, you're a man who loves God, or a man of God who loves people. You're also a man who loves God, but you're a man of God who loves people, and I'm a man of excellence who always keeps his word. So at our very core is that we love people. They're safe with us. We don't judge them. We are there to help them have a better life. You can't get any more authentic than that, right? So, and that's why it doesn't come off weird. It doesn't come off like we're trying to scam somebody, because we're not. And you and I were both, see, this is the thing. That's why you have to do CEO of you first. You need an internal identity. You have to get your mind running the boardroom. You have to have an ultimate target, and you have to have your 8 cylinders working. Remember, and the 8 cylinders are spiritual health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, social health, which is harmonious relationships. Then you could push your airspace out to professional health, financial health, and cultural health. And that's the order to which I personally push my airspace out. But it all starts with your identity, and that's your spiritual health. And when you get your heart right with you and your internals, and that way you're not being a con man. You're not a con artist, and you're not working people. And that's how Dutch and I can use the word manipulate, as just moving people. It's not a negative way, because we never use our superpowers for evil, do we, Dutch?
No, and you might want to repeat those 8 cylinders as well for anybody who was trying to write it down.
All right, so ground zero for me, the first cylinder is my spiritual health. That's my spiritual cylinder. Then the next one I push out is my physical health. That's my physical cylinder. I dominate my body. So once I have my spirit in line, and I know what my internal identity is, I'm a man of excellence, always keeps his word, then I go to work on my body. That's my diet, my nutrition, my sleep. And it's my fitness. I'm doing exercise. I'm working out, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm dominating my spirit first. I get my internal identity. Then I go to my body. And then the next level out is my mental health. I'm actually, and this is, listen, we coach CEOs, we coach high-end people. I put them, and I start them on this track. We work on their identity first. Then I get them on, the nutrition and the diet, and we get them on the intermittent fasting, and we get them doing 30 minutes of walking or what. I don't make them do CrossFit or anything, but they got to at least walk or do something, and they have to get 8 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours. They don't have to get 8, but they got to get 6.
Right.
And I get a log. They send me that log every day. Once we have their written identity, then I go to work on the body. Then the next thing, once I get that under control, within the next, say 8 weeks, that I'm coaching somebody, we're coaching a client, then we work on the mental health. And so I'm going to give you an assignment of whatever your passion is, that you're whatever you do for a living, you're going to start to have to read at least 15 minutes in that field every night before you go to bed. That's your mental health. There's some kind of personal and professional growth. You have to be growing. You have to be learning. If you're not learning and growing, you are dying. There is nothing in nature that's static. It's either in a growth cycle or a death cycle. So for mental health, 15 minutes every night. Now imagine how far ahead you'd be. Now I do like an hour. I go to bed and it's an hour I read. Right? So imagine how far ahead you'd be if you did that consistently for 5 years.
Wow.
That's how I can get on the podium and talk. And you've seen me, and people ask questions like out of left field sometimes. And how I could even, bring it together is because I'm constantly working on my mental cylinder. Constantly. Then when you get those 3 down, then the next one out is the emotional cylinder. When I start to understand how to manipulate my hormones and my moods and become a responder and not a reactor, and now I can dominate my emotions. I start to dominate them and deploy them and call them up when I need them. Because there are times like that's why I would go in the burning house for love, right? So, and then the next one out, once I get me, that's all you. If you notice, if you drew concentric circles, spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional, that's all you. Now you can push your airspace out to social. That's harmonious relationships. It's relationships with your spouse, with your kids, with your boss, with your coworkers, with the neighbors. And once you're under control, it becomes very easy to have harmonious relationships. Very easy. It's very easy. Once you're under control, it gets easy. But now we're starting to, once you get to that level, it starts this people whisperer part. Once you're under control, then I have to understand how do I help other people, and that's where the social cylinder comes in. Once I have that taken care of, then I can go to work on my career. Because until I know how to have good social, harmonious relationships with my boss and my coworkers, my career is going to be... it's going to be a nightmare minefield, and that's why a lot of marriages end in divorce, right? Because we put the career track ahead of all these others. And now I'm not telling you not to go to work on the career track. You got to do them in the right order.
Right.
Okay, so that's the professional cylinder. Then finally, then after you get your professional cylinder, the financial health, that financial cylinder will actually fall into place on its own because you're going to get promoted. There's no way that you're not going to get promoted at this point.
So you got your career, then you have financial?
Then financial health. All right, and then the final one is cultural health. So now how can I affect my community? Because until you're financially sound, you can't go, I'll say it like this. Can you give anybody anything you don't have?
Absolutely not.
If you don't have $100, you can't go give somebody $100. If you don't have $1 million, I can't put $1 million endowment out there into the community to help for scholarships, for the arts, for music. And there's studies that show that when you get involved in that cultural cylinder, it helps your cognitive processing, your neuroplasticity, and it slows down your brain aging. So we need to get there, but you got to do it in order. And that cultural piece could be, now a lot of people, they try to get that cultural piece first, right? And they don't even have a harmonious relationship with their spouse or their kids or their boss, but they want to go do volunteer work because it's guilt assuagement. And now you're out of whack, right? The cylinders are not functioning or firing correctly because now you're out of round. It's like a tire that's out of round. It's wobbling because you're trying to put the cart in front of the horse. Cultural is that's the last frontier for us. But it is very important that we give back.
Absolutely. And if you just for a moment think about any of those things out of place, you can also imagine the downfall. If I have my career professional done before I have my own mental and spiritual and physical health done, then it's just a matter of time before my job, the stresses of my job, kills me, makes me no longer good at my job, or in some way it begins to fall apart. It's not going to last long if I don't have those things measured, right? And my emotions, all those things could cause a blow up at work. So no matter how good I am at my career or my profession, those things could alter that.
Right.
But if I have all those things set, then I can maximize how good I am at my career or my profession. If my emotions are intact, socially I'm great, mentally, spiritually, and physically I'm well. All those things are intact. But we know a lot of people that are financially secure, but their mental health is horrible. Their relationships are bad. So you're talking about
and they're emotional, right? And they're emotional train wreck. Hey, we're up on a break, Dutch. We'll be right. We'll pick this up as soon as we get back. You're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Andrew and Dutch.